Hey all, it is TexAgs Radio Rewind. David Nuno, Ryan Broniger. Hello, buddy.
You always count yourself down like that? For people that don't know.
Yeah, I do.
He goes 3, 2, 1, and then he starts his little show.
Yeah, so let me tell you the story behind that. So when I did news, photographers don't ever want you to just to start. They want to count down, then they want to pause, then they want you to go. So it's now become like kind of my routine. Greg Bailey will always, sports director at ABC 13, will go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and then he'll start. Everybody's got their own little countdown.
Okay.
I do. All right, what does I do? 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3? What do I do?
I already forgot.
Yeah, but I do something. And there's a pause, and then a fake smile, and you go.
Did Joe Gleason make you do that?
Joe Gleason does it as well.
The GOAT, Joe Gleason.
The GOAT does it as well. All right, so we had a fun show. Chris Landry, who I love, Texas A&M Scouting Report, he kind of painted not a good picture of this weekend, but regardless, we go beyond that because I kind of go through the chaos in college football and I analyze what's happening at A&M and then other schools and how you can feel about that after the Bama game. Chris Taylor came on what should be the game plan versus Bama. And you, my friend, if you want, you can give a little 9-second preview about how the end of the season really will tell the story about recruiting.
Judge the season in its entirety when it comes to looking at the recruiting and recruiting calendar. So not a lot to be excited. Really not a lot going on in terms of A&M recruitment right now. But let's wait and see what happens, especially over the next month.
It is TexAgs Rewind.
It's not about recruiting rankings. It's not about coaching salaries. It's about this team. And this team right now, this A&M team I'm speaking of, is just not very good in some key areas that they've not been able to crack the code on fixing it. And I know you got to fix it. That's on the coaching staff. That's got to have better ways to camouflage. We can get into that later or another day, but on some of the things that I think that Jim will probably philosophically what he believes, and he's so good at it, but there's some things that probably he can improve upon in terms of how he develops and works younger players. One of the things I'm seeing with teams like Arkansas and Michigan State, others, is how they've just taken transfer portal guys and plugged them in so well. And, it's things like that maybe helps to, stick a dike in the dam when things you don't have any answers. Because right now they don't have answers. As you know, the injuries are mounting, so it becomes more and more complex the further you get into the season when you got less and less answers, and you got to figure out a way to kind of, make the stew taste a little bit better, if you will.
After that, some of the teams that were not expected to be great, but became great after their great starts, Arkansas, Ole Miss.
Arkansas, Ole Miss, and I think I'd love Kentucky in with that group as well. Kentucky's been surprisingly good. I think a lot of people expected them to kind of be that third team in the East, and I think they're better than a lot of people even projected them to be. So they're right up there. And I mean, the SEC West, even though it might be considered a down year, it's still a gauntlet to run through. So Arkansas and Ole Miss are still going to have to play, Alabama and Auburn and LSU. Those are never easy wins for anybody.
So take a look at this. So they play each other this weekend, Arkansas and Ole Miss, right? But they both have one loss, right? One of them's going to have 2 losses after, right?
Yes.
So we'll take a look at Arky real quick. Then they have Auburn. Oh, really? They may lose 3 straight.
Auburn's been a little bit better, especially. I'm not going to say Auburn's been better. They surprised some people last week. Bo Nix pulled a rabbit out of his hat and made a winning play on that night. I'm not so sure he's going to be able to do that consistently for the rest of the season. But it's not a sure win for Arkansas by any means.
But I guess my point is,
where is that game?
I believe I don't have it here. I don't have it in front of me. But let's just for a minute say that it's very possible that they lose 3 straight, just like winning, or just like A&M is in the middle of that. So Ole Miss, if they lose, they should get right because I think they get Tennessee right after that. But will they? Because Tennessee the other week put up so many darn points. Let's just give them that one. Then they still have LSU and Auburn after that. Both of those teams are potentially looking at 3 losses before with still 2 or 3 games to go. Okay, now you have LSU who has 2 losses. We all know the gauntlet that's coming up for them. Their next 5 games, maybe 6 games, are all losable. At Kentucky, versus Florida. At Ole Miss, at Alabama, versus Arky. LSU is going to have a worse losing streak than A&M. Okay,
I think they get they get a boost because they get Florida in Baton Rouge, and they also get Arkansas in Baton Rouge. But Ole Miss and Oxford's not going to be easy right now, especially with how much energy and electricity Lane Kiffin has infused into that program. And then you have to go to Tuscaloosa, so have fun with that,
So
LSU.
So what I'm saying so far, those Arkansas, Ole Miss, and LSU have, I think, built in 3 losses coming up, right? Potentially more than that. Auburn, 4-1, no losses in the SEC. Yet they get Georgia this weekend. Oh, now they're 4-2, 1 loss in the SEC. Then they're at Archie. If we gave the Archie the loss earlier, who knows how that's going to play out? But just saying, not guaranteed win for them. Then Ole Miss, and then Texas A&M with probably Haynes King back. Oh,
And it's in College Station.
oh.
And I know a bunch of people are kind of doubting whether or not Kyle Field's a serious home field advantage, and I don't think any place, any venue is a serious home field advantage anymore. But playing at home with your starting quarterback back, that's going to give a boost to the 12th man. And
When your house is on fire, you don't really notice that your neighbors' houses are on fire, really, right?
Right.
So I think that's what's happening with the A&M fan base, and that's all they care about is that their house is seemingly on fire. It ain't burned down yet. Maybe there's a room on fire. But before it gets too bad, you got a chance to put that fire out. And let's say all these homes are going to be on the market. That's a pretty good analogy. I live on a street. A bunch of the houses on the street catch on fire. But all these houses we're planning on selling, here in a few weeks. Well, if I can put out my fire the quickest, I'm probably going to be able to sell my house the best. Right? So as we're getting close to signing day, which one of these houses in Baton Rouge, Austin, whatever, which one of these houses is going to have the least amount of burn damage that you can sell on, hey, this was bad, but we're getting it fixed, and you can still buy this home, and it's really nice. So that's kind of where things are. A lot of football still to be played, a lot of narrative still to be written in terms of your recruiting pitch going into the offseason.
I can't imagine Alabama. Alabama is Alabama. They said, our athletes are better than yours. We're going to run our stuff, and you're just going to have to figure it out and beat it. So I just think a lack of separation. And then when the plays are there to be made, they're not making the plays. I mean, way too many drops, so far these first 2 games of conference play, and it's just been inconsistent play from that group outside. But the great part is they have another opportunity this week to lace them up and go out there and compete. And hopefully the guys like Watermeyer, Anais, those guys will make those plays. You've got to make those ordinary plays, and then you got to make some exceptional ones as well to be able to beat a team like Alabama. So I'm excited to see what this group does, see if they answer the call, but they've got a tough challenge this week.
How's your back feeling?
Better.
Yeah.
Chiropractor visit.
It works, right? I've never done it.
You wouldn't know.
I don't know.
Maybe I can open your eyes to it.
One day when you get to my age,
Hopefully, God willing.
you're making it sound like it's 30 years down the road. I will at some point end up going to a chiropractor. What are we supposed to do after the video?
Like, comment, and subscribe. We post videos daily.
Look at that smile. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.